Thanks for coming.
People on Zoom, so what's up?
Sorry, I have to mute you all. Love you, but we have to mute you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so we know that there's all these systems that we have, you know, in our worlds. There's the educational system, the political system, the the environmental systems, like all these things that we've been accustomed and used to living with, and now all crumbling, including the financial system. And I myself have, you know, I mean, the journey with finances, I mean, I've always worked for really grassroots projects, you know what I mean? Like independent record labels, radio stations, you know, doing a lot of like charity work and activist work and things like that. So I've never really kind of got to that point where I'm like, yeah, I'm creaming it in the money world, you know, but at the same time, I've just been able to gather all these incredible skills as far as like working along it, you know, around, you know, different, organizations and different lots of things. I've kind of like been able to wear many hats, but it wasn't until 2017 where I did a course with Jeffrey Slater. I don't know if you guys know him, but it was called The Path of Alchemy, and we did a very big deep dive into the crypto world then. And that was when Bitcoin got up to about 26,000 before it did the big dive. And so a lot of my friends there were sort of like, they were investing a lot of money, and just when the deep dive happened, a lot of people lost a lot of money, and I was like, whoa, this is too much, this is crazy. So I sort of like, I think I ended up throwing like $500 in or whatever, but I got educated nevertheless on what crypto meant and how it was like, you know, rolling in the world. And of course now, as I see, you know, there's quite a few of us on a number of, there's a few groups that we're sort of keeping on top of what's happening in the world right now. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's not that it's like, you know, if you were to look at that kind of stuff and go, well, you know, like for the first time, you'd probably, you know, you'd freak out. But at the same time, we're looking at these new systems and we're like, well, you know, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I met Rhiannon recently, and after I had the baby, this is our little baby. He's right here. He's making noise, distracting me. Yeah. So obviously when you have a baby and you become a mother, like things really change in your world. And it's kind of like, it's about family now. It's about, you know, the future generations. And so I've had the baby 5 months on, and it's like, okay, well, what's next for me? What's next for my world, and what's next for our world as a family, and where will I be stepping into? Where will I be putting my energy? And really good friend of mine, Ash, who, if you guys end up working with us or, you know, being involved in this community, you'll get to meet him. He couldn't come tonight, but he's a really good old friend of mine from Bondi. And he was just like, Rhea, oh my God, you've got to, like, I need to talk to you about this stuff. It'll blow your mind. I'm like, what, you know, like, because it was, you know, when people say those kind of things, it's almost like too good to be true.
Run.
Yeah, run. But he goes, come up and meet Rhiannon. And I was like, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. And when I got into the room with Rhiannon, and Jayesh was there as well, and Ash, we all just hit it off, you know, we're just talking, and I can feel the life force. You know, I can feel the life force between us. I can feel the spark. I can feel like that something really good is, you know, is here energetically. And when Rhiannon like looked at me, almost with tears in her eyes, and saying, this is the answer to our prayers, you know, this is the answer to our dreams, because like literally, you know, when you go into this world, it's a whole different world from what we've been accustomed to. There's a slavery system, which we've all been accustomed to living and working within. You know, you get into debt and you get you know, you borrow money off the banks and blah, 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 and it's slavery. But when you go into the crypto, I was just listening to David Avocado Wolf and a guy called Morpheus, like do a talk today as well. And they've got this brand called Defund the Matrix. Yeah. And it's really exciting because when you're sort of talking to those guys on that kind of level, like hearing what they have to say, it's, you know, there's an underground sort of world of people that are, you know, taking the crypto world and building their own world with it, if you know what I mean. So the governments and everything that's centralized will continue to click into place and become more and more connected, like globalist, corporate, they want to become the one world order, right? The new world order, like that's pretty much what it is. But when you become decentralized, you're literally, you're unplugging from that system. So without further ado, I will bring on Rhiannon. And I know it's a bit cheesy, but I just wanted to just drop her bio a little bit, because it's very incredible, the people that have landed here in the Byron Shire at this time, because we all used to be traveling around doing like a whole bunch of stuff, jumping on planes and doing our thing. And Rhiannon was one of those people. And now she's decided to anchor herself here in the Byron Shire. And it was just a couple of interviews I looked at you today. I mean, she's been traveling, it was New York, like LA, like all these things. And so Rhiannon's a high performance business coach, a wealth coach. She's won all sorts of awards. Actually, the bio's on the Facebook page if you want to have a look at it. But she's been doing really, really great work in the world. And it's a real honor and a privilege to have met you. I feel very inspired by having you in my life. It's been about 5 weeks now, and I feel turned on. I feel confident. Because before, when you're in this sort of, it's not so much poverty consciousness, but it's sort of like, what's going to happen with our worlds, what's going to happen. And then it's like when you're starting to feel something new arrive, it's like, I feel upliftment and I feel excitement, but in a grounded way, because it's not like, oh my God, this next best thing. It's almost like, okay, what are the steps we need to take? And in order to sort of click our mindset into gear, it's a lot about mindset, because when we believe we can do it, we generally can, right? So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm sort of taking the first step. I've gone into the gate and I'm feeling that momentum already starting to happen. So Rhiannon, welcome.
Thank you.
And of course, just before you do come on, I just wanted to say thank you to Marion for having us here tonight, and thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming, and for yourself and for your life, and also all those people here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you again so much for coming. I just thought I'd start sharing. I thought I'd just start sharing a little bit about my background so you can understand sort of how I've arrived here. And I would love for this to shine a light in your world, given the state of the world at the moment, because it actually breaks my heart what is happening. And then when I looked at it in a different way and I realised the freedom and the choice that we can get in this new system, that's what really floats my boat. So I have also bought copies of my first book just to give to you, because that was my journey. So I've been blessed. You can hand them out if you like, Jesh. And that's a gift from Ria and I. So I have been blessed in my life with a great deal of tragedy. And I probably should be an axe murderer, but I'm not. I'm just, true. But I chose the path of my heart. I followed my heart. So I just want to share one of my tragedies, because it will help give some background to, again, how I've arrived here. So about 13 years ago, I was married and I had a beautiful, handsome husband who was a firefighter. And we lived in Whistler in Canada. And I had a beautiful health retreat. We were doing Ayurvedic treatments. I had 35 staff. I had a 1-year-old child who's now 17, and I thought life was great. And then one day I came home unannounced, we actually shared a vehicle. And I'm not a very good cook. I make great pancakes, but that's sort of where it stops. And that particular day I'd actually made a cheesecake for my business partner, and I'd left it on the stove. And I thought to myself, if I don't go and get it because it's the middle of summer, it's going to spoil. And so rather than call my husband at the time and ask him, can I borrow the truck, I actually just asked my business partner. I said, is it okay if I take your vehicle? And she said, yeah, no worries. So I drove home and I parked my car in the driveway, and I walked down through all the beautiful little flowers. And I put my key in the door and I turned the door, and I saw a flash of pink. And I went, oh, it's kind of weird, you know. And I walked into the hallway, and I turned the corner, and there was my gorgeous husband in my sexy black lacy wedding lingerie. And I thought, okay, all right, like let's be open here, like okay, all right, yeah. And he was actually doing a job interview on the phone, and he was finishing a job interview. I'm like, okay. And he said he thought about lying to me in that moment, but in that moment he decided to be honest. And he came over and he held my hands and he said, I've always wanted to be a woman. And I kind of had to, like, in that moment, put the wife and the mother over here and put the counsellor and the homeopath here, and I stepped into that. And I thought to myself, it does matter what I say in this moment, because if I don't say something from this place here, I could destroy this person in front of me. I had enough awareness at that moment. And I said, you know what? You're going to be a beautiful woman. Help yourself to my clothes. And I ran out the door and I cried every day for like the next 18 months. Now, the thing is, for the first 4 months, he was a firefighter. He was an extreme skier, a AAA hockey player, a mechanic. So there's no way he was a woman. So I didn't believe it. So for the first 4 months, every day or every night, I'd wake up and I'd expect him to say, got you good, didn't I? we had that sort of relationship. Like, we were always playing jokes on each other. I'd go get my hair done. I'd pick him up from work and go, hey, does your wife know me? No. So we had that sort of play. So I went, wow, that's the best one ever. And after about 4 months, I realised, actually, it's true. And, you know, for me, I couldn't go further in that relationship because I actually wanted to be with a man. That's just me, you know. So, and I was trying to contain all the stars in the sky. And what I didn't realise was I was in shock. So what happened was I asked him to leave so he could pursue his path and become the woman that she has become. And I because I had this business of 35 staff, and we were, you know, a house, and my son was one, I was very tired and I was very overworked, and I was working 15-hour days, 7 days a week. And what I didn't realise is once I went into shock with the situation with my marriage, I started to make bad decisions. And I started to spiral down, right? Because if you don't have the awareness that, hey, that's a bad choice, and you make another bad choice and another bad choice. So what happened was my payroll at the time with my 35 staff was $30,000 every 2 weeks. And I'm like, I've got to pay the girls, got to pay the girls, got to pay the girls. So I'm like, okay, I'll give up my house and we'll house sit. And I thought to myself at the time, wow, isn't that funny? I have told this story that many times for 13 years and I can feel the tears now. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how many times you tell it, go back and go, oh, yeah, that was something, that's right. And so I just figured I needed to work harder. So I'm like, if I give up the house and I house sit, then I can make this payroll, 30,000 every 2 weeks. So I did. I gave up the house and I house sat. And I thought to myself, you know what? If I house sit for like 6 to 8 weeks, we'll have it sorted, right? No. I didn't have it sorted in 6 months. I didn't have it sorted in a year. I didn't have it sorted in 2 years. I did not have it sorted in 3 years. So at the end of 3 years, my son and myself had lived in over 40 houses. And at that stage, you won't remember this, my son couldn't sit still. He'd be like, because we were always on the move. So when he was in kindy, he'd be always on the move. And the thing is, I got so sick of asking for house sits that I actually said to my girlfriend, I said, can I just borrow your tent? Because I don't want to ask for another house sit. So at that stage, I borrowed a tent. We were living on food bank handouts and I didn't care anymore. Like, I used to go to work and I didn't even wash my clothes. Like, my pants would stand up by themselves. And I still thought I didn't work hard enough. I thought if only I work hard enough, I'll get there. And the other thing is too, I thought that God, universe had forsaken me. I'm just like, you know what, really? I am so mad with you that if I speak, that all the words that come out of my mouth is going to make Kath and Kim look like royalty. So I was so mad. And the funny thing is, I prayed every day, please help me out of the situation. And nothing changed. I'm living on $500 a month. I'm on food bank handouts. I'm living in a tent. And isn't it funny? The only time that you will shift is when it's so uncomfortable. That shift is the only way you have forward. So you know what? You stay in your discomfort. You stay in your pain because you know what? It's your best friend. You know it well. I'm like, you know what? I struggle. I'm poor. Because now you're wearing that like a badge. You're wearing that like a label. So what happened was I got a call from my mum, and my mum was really sick. And I'm actually one of 8 kids, 6 brothers and a sister. And I knew that if I didn't figure this out, who was going to look after my mum? I'm in Canada in the tent. My mum's in Australia. The second that my mum called and said she was really ill, I thought to myself, if I don't sort this out, if my mum dies on my watch, I'm not forgiving myself. Bing, I sorted it like that. How come you couldn't have sorted it like that any of the other days in the past 3 years? Because I was comfy in my own, well, I'm doing my best, you know, one foot in front of the other, blah, blah, blah. So as soon as I found out my mum was ill, called all my friends, I asked for money, I asked for points. I had it solved in 4 days. I'm on a flight with my son, who's then 4.5, back to Australia. The thing is, my mum was really poor. She was living in housing commission. She lost everything. So we're now living in a 1-bedroom unit in housing commission in Sydney with nothing. We're taking turns sleeping between the floor, the couch and the bed. And my mum, I helped my mum for about 6 months until she got better. And when she got better, it was time to look at myself and go, you know what, how have I created this? Like, what do I need to do to change this? And I was very fortunate that 3 years earlier, I'd met a coach, and this coach, when I had my business, and this coach had said to me, why don't you become a coach? And I'm like, well, how am I going to do that? I've got a 1-year-old son, got 35 staff, whatever. And I thought, you know, at some stage, wouldn't it be great if I became a coach? So when mum got better, she happened to move from England to Australia. Now she's living in Sydney. And I ran into her and she goes, oh, what about the coaching thing? And the funny thing is, because I've been making $500 a month for 12 years, I said, well, how does it work? And she goes, well, it's the best coaching program in the world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how much does it cost? And she said, it's $35,000 for 10 days. Now, at that time, that was 7 years worth of my income. I'm like, how am I going to do that? You know? And the other thing I forgot to tell you is when I was living in a tent and I used to cry myself to sleep at night and I was like really mad. I remember one night I thought to myself, like, how much money do I need to make so we don't have to live like this? So my son can have a swimming lesson, so I can put a t-shirt on his back. So maybe one day I could take him to Disneyland or give him a meal that he wants. And I thought to myself, you know what, if I could make $40,000 a month, woohoo. Anyway, I started to become a coach, and the long and the short of it is, you know, that was like, you know, Rhea was saying, I kind of went to the top of my field in coaching. Fantastic, it was awesome. Within 18 months, I was making $40,000 a month because the power of affirmations and all of that. And then COVID hit. So then as a speaker, I was flying all over the world speaking, and all of a sudden I don't have a business anymore. And so now I have to recreate myself, and I've got Zoom. So I've got my coaching business, but my speaking events are like big ticket items. So I'm like, okay, I've got a great veggie patch, yeah? So I've got more broccoli than you can poke a stick out. If you need some broccoli, just call me and I'm just good with the broccoli. And then about 3 years ago, I got into crypto. And I only got into it because a girl I know said to me 10 times, you need to look at this. And that I was still flying back then. And I said, I don't have time, forget it, I don't have time. And I really just watched that video just to keep her quiet. I'm like, oh God, I have to call her back because I haven't watched it again. So I called her back, and I'm forever grateful that I watched that video. When I watched that video, I thought to myself, there's something in this, because I had this moment, I went, there's something in this, okay. So I put $300 into this particular crypto, and I had made $20 the next week. And see, can you just pass that card around? This is actually a crypto credit card. Make sure it comes back, guys. But you put Bitcoin and Ethereum on it, and you just can buy straight with that card. And what I can't say on this, but I'll say after, is there's a special advantage about that. Anyway, I had a card like that, not that card, but a different card. I bought my dinner on it at the airport, and I went, oh my God, this is real. You can actually make money on this. But that first year I was losing lots of money because it was like one big rodeo. Like 1 minute you're up, one next minute, like what Rhea was saying, Bitcoin's down, you're making money, now you're losing money. And the thing is too, I don't want to put my money into something that's a gamble. I just do not want to do that. So after the first year, like wins and losses and whatever, I threw myself into it. I spent time studying it, learning, understanding it, going, you know, I've got to get this. And then, so I'm sort of 2 years in, and then a year ago, I had the fortune, like a lot of the stuff I'm about to go into now is going to sound like Swahili, and you're going to go, what is she talking about? But what we came from was the old system where we're enslaved by the banks and they give you 1% because that's how they control you. What we're moving to is the new system of freedom, pioneering a new way of wealth where we can contribute because our cups overflow so much that even this morning I was on a call with a philanthropist, a crypto philanthropist, who is very wealthy. And this one particular group of people are wanting to plant trees all over the world. And he donated enough money for them to plant 1 billion trees. This is the sort of field we're moving into, because you're over here making 1% getting paid this. As soon as you get into this and you start to understand it, it will go through the roof. Like, you know, it's crazy. So I knew that people were doing well with this, but I wanted to find something that was solid. So a year ago, I got into this, and this is the part where I've got to be just careful how I share this, but from a compliance point of view. But what happened was I started very, very small with a very small amount of money. And there's I've got lots of different types of cryptos, but the one I'm sharing tonight, there's nothing more solid and more stable than that I have seen. There might be other things out there, but I haven't seen anything like this. And I can't even begin to tell you how it's changed my life, what it's done for me, my family, you know, people all over the world. Like currently I'm funding people in Africa. We've got a program where there's 5,000 chickens in Africa, and each family gets 10 chickens so they have eggs. And this is all through this program. So in a nutshell, the reason I like this one, and this is a foundation, and this is the only one I'm sharing tonight. We do have a training course tomorrow, but I'm just sharing this one tonight, is because there's 3 things behind this crypto that no other crypto has. The first thing is it's backed by self-made billionaires who got into the crypto like 10, 15 years ago. And the reason we have crypto is they kept mining it when they were losing money because they believed in the idea of it. The thing that you've got to understand about crypto and blockchain is we are outside the system. It's decentralized, which means all of the transactions get spread across, you know, millions of people's computers, which means it's not hackable. Like unless you tried really, really hard and shut down everyone's computer at the same time, which means that it's power to the people. And I'm all about power to the people because it's not controlled by anyone. I don't want to be controlled, do you? So the thing is, this is a place where we can actually start to shift how we live, the choices we make. We can fill our chalice and fill other people's chalices. So it's backed by these self-made billionaires. Now, the next point I'm going to bring up is the magic. This is the absolute magic. So crypto goes up and down. Like 1 minute Bitcoin's up, then it's down. So 1 minute you've made money, then you've lost money. This particular crypto makes its money from transaction fees, which means that any time people are buying and selling in the market, you're making money anytime, which means we're always making money, which means we're actually in an abundance and expansion system. Now, the other thing I forgot to say is when I was back here and I was poor and I did all the coaching and everything, I didn't realize I had a poverty victim scarcity mentality. I didn't even know one of those existed. And what I had to do over the last decade was transform into a wealth, abundance, expansion mindset. And that's kind of probably why crypto showed up in my world, is because energetically I'd shifted here. So universe brought me something that matched. And what universe did was like take everything away and said, this is the only path. There's no other path. And then when I realized how this works, like it is so strange, even today, a couple of years later, and having been in this system for a year, to every day wake up every day and I've made more money. And I haven't necessarily worked harder. I haven't actually done anything else. I've just made more money. Like I don't know anyone in their lives, like take crypto aside. Is there anyone in this room who's woken up every day and you made more money? Because you have. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome. But most people would not have. Most people would not have. So in this system, every single day you wake up, you've made more money because of the way it works. So your worst outcome in this system is a 300% return. So if you think the banks give you 1%, you're getting 300% return. So that kind of is strange that you get a 300% return. So for example, so if you put 1,000 in, it will immediately show up in your account as 3,000. Remember, it's crypto, but the value of it is $1 US. So you put 1,000 HU in, it shows up as 3,000. Now, if you put 1,000 HU in and you do what's called a rebuy, which means you get 50 rewards and you put that back in, you get another 150. That means that 1,000 is now 12,000 in a year. So the thing is, you can actually strategize around this to catapult and accelerate your acquisition in a way you can't even imagine. So, and the thing is, what we would do is we'd help you with that. But the reason I'm here tonight is we need people. I have, like right now, we have people on this call from New Zealand, a whole group of teachers who've lost their jobs. Where are they going to go? What is their plan B? So this is a plan B for lots of people, teachers, cops, nurses, people who have lost everything because they will not. They want to make this, they want choice. They want to make the choice that they want to make. And the thing is, I don't care which side of the fence you're on, you need to make the choice that's right for you. Nobody should ever take your choice away. Isn't that why the Nuremberg Code exists? And so, thank you. And so that is why this is so important. This is so important. Put the money aside. This is more important than that, because this allows us to step forward and say, you know what? I want my voice to count. I want my voice to count. So since I've got into it, like the bank account's been great, but the things I've been able to do in terms of charity, like now I'm partnering an ex-Miss Universe who all she's done when she won, she sold everything she won and she funded her first orphanage, and she's been doing that for the last 30 years. She's just funded orphanage. She's helped thousands of kids in Africa. So now that's what we can do, because you'll find there's a point in time where your chalice becomes so full, like heart, especially the region that we live in. I guarantee, like, you know, pretty much everyone in this room will be like, who can I help? Because we live here for a reason. Like this is purely divine that we've come together at this time with this opportunity to shift the world. Because you know what? It's not about us crumbling that system over there. It's not about that. It's just about us focusing on building this beautiful thing here, which is choice and freedom, where we can choose and we have our own rights and we have the facility and capacity to do it. And what's really interesting is, isn't it interesting that somehow universe provided this great wealth over here to people who know what to do with it, how to share it, and how to make a difference. So this is the system that we're in, and this is what we're sharing tonight. So I'm sure that we will have a lot of questions around how it works. So the 3 questions I get all the time is, it's too good to be true, it must be a scam, and how to get your money out. So of course it sounds too good to be true because it's a 300% return. Like, where are you going to get that? And in terms of getting your money out, like I put it on my card or I put it into my bank account. Of course, if I put it in my bank account, a little bit of chunk goes back to Australia. And it's really easy to transact, to move around. The other thing you've got to understand is there's only 4% of the global population that are in this. So we're pioneering a new way. Like yes, it comes across as a wealth system because that's what it's based in. But what I've found is there's all these people in this crypto that are awake, that are pioneering a new path to freedom, and it's being built regardless. Like, it doesn't matter what they do over here. This is gathering every single day. There's more and more people coming on board, and with resources, guess what? We can do more things. We can be more active. We can be more visible, and we don't have to listen over here because that you can't reach into this system, not hackable. You can't, like, this can't be broken. I mean, short of some maverick genius, which my son tells me does exist, like, this can't be broken. So there's power in numbers, and you all know that there's power in numbers. So we will help you any way we can to get started. And I know it does sound like Swahili, and I'm trying to give you the rundown. And the other thing we do have too, tomorrow, between 9:30 and 10:30, we have just a tiny introduction into a very short course that will actually open your mind to what's available. So we cover wealth mindset, but then we cover 5 different types of cryptos, not just for you to look at and go, oh, I wonder what is that and what is this? Because it's like learning a new language, and you've got to find the thing that resonates for you. But in terms of what I'm sharing tonight, I'm not a financial planner and I'm not an accountant, but I haven't found anything that's more safe than this. All the other things I do, I would never share them because they're up and down like every other crypto. But this is a platform that will and is changing people's lives. And those people that we're helping, like the teachers and the cops and the nurses, the people that we're helping, I've already had in the last 3 months, 6 people be able to quit their jobs because they go, I don't need it anymore, you know. And so, like, when they're being, you know, pressured by at work to make choices that I want to make, they go, no worries, it's all good. And like, I mean, really, you know, and that's the thing. So it's just a very interesting time. So if anyone has any questions to this point, I suggest that we ask some questions here just to understand how it's working. So it's a digital asset. It's a cryptocurrency You've got the original one was Bitcoin, and then you have 8,000 other coins. But what this particular one is a membership. So you're buying in at US dollars, right? Any questions? Yeah.
What's it called?
This one's called Hyperfund.
And how come you haven't said that before?
Because I was kind of doing all the backstory and everything before to explain it. And the thing is, I was like all the other things, and then the only thing I'm sharing tonight is Hyperfund, because that's the only thing that's the only one that I believe is solid. Like, because I'm not an accountant, not a financial planner, I don't. The other things I do, like some are good and some are not good, like they go up and down. I don't think that's responsible to share that. But what I'm saying is this is a path to freedom. But yeah, that's what it's called, Hyperfund. Yeah. If you Google it, you're going to see good and bad like anything else. But there's a way for you to try it. The smallest membership you can buy is 300. So that's about 400 Australian. That's the smallest membership you can buy. And that will show up as triple in your account. So, and that 300 will be 3,000 in 12 months' time. So, I mean, that's the most simple. Plus, we have a very big community of people who can help you. I mean, you can ask questions to understand what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Well, by the way, if I share it with you and Rhea shares it with you, we did not make any commissions from this. So it's not like so this is not doTERRA or Amway or anything like this. But we will be, if we share it, they will send us our own rewards faster. So we get paid in time, not in money, which makes it very ethical, because I wouldn't want to be involved in anything to do with anyone's money where I get anyone's. I don't want that. But my own rewards are released to me faster. That's all. Any other questions? Yes.
So in that way, it's like a pyramid scheme, right?
Well, pyramid schemes are legal,
Yeah.
but yeah, but this is actually a membership, so it's different. But nobody makes any commissions on anyone else that joins the membership. Plus, they actually do have a cap on their membership, whereas most of those other companies, they like it's unlimited. Like they'll take the whole 7 billion people in, no problems. Whereas they will not take more than 30 million members, which sounds like a lot, but it's going to go like that because the program's so good. Because the guy that's done the maths behind it, he's a nuclear physicist, and he's already done the maths, and he goes, I can't contain it. 30 million is the cap. So when we get to 30 million, that's it. He'll just keep it going at 30 million. And we're only at 700,000 now, but it is growing like wildfire because people need it. They need an alternative that works, that you can cash out every day if you want to, so yeah. Yes.
What are the gas fees? Like, if
yeah, great question. Great. You know some crypto.
Yeah, but you take $1 out percentage that you move.
Yeah. So you would never take $1 out because your gas fees will vary depending on the traffic on the blockchain. So if there's big traffic, you can pay $140. But if there's little traffic, you can pay $9. So you've got to kind of work out at what time. So for me personally, I won't take out less than $1,000 because I don't want to pay more than $10 on my gas fees. So I've figured out that I'll take out 1,000 or more, and I'll just wait till the traffic. So I look straight at the gas fee, and if it's over $10, I just wait. I'm not paying more than $10. But they've actually just, if anyone knows anything about crypto here, there's different highways that the crypto goes on. So there's one called the Ethereum network. There's one called the Tron network. Ethereum's very expensive and Tron's really cheap. They're in the process of switching to Tron, which means it'll be about $1. We're not there yet, but they're in the process of switching, which is awesome. The most I paid was $140 when I didn't know. Now I pay $10 or less, but I would cash out 1,000 at a time.
Can you set parameters so it does it automatically when the traffic gets to that point?
No, you kind of got to look into your back. You have to do that manually. So what you would do is you would take your HU. So HU is the coin that we're transacting in this system. In the back end, we have another coin called MOF. Now 12 months ago, that coin was worth 7 cents. Now it's worth $2.35. So if you just banked in MOF, where would you be? So with the MOF, what I do is I'm constantly looking at strategies to improve it. So I'll wait till my gas fees are low. So say I take out $1,000, I'll wait till they're low. Then I'll put my MOF on the exchange, and then I will park it at like 20 or 30% above, and I will wait for the market to meet it because this coin only goes up. So I might wait a week or two, plus then there's 35% on top. So by the time I take my $1,000 out into my bank account on my card, it's like $1,800 just because I parked it for a bit. That's it. So I'm adding 40% to my withdrawals all the time. Yeah. No, it's awesome. Well, because you don't want to do any of this in a rush. You want to take your time. Like for anyone who is interested in doing it, your first 3 or 4 months will be slow. You'll be like, oh my God, this is so slow, because you might be making $5 a day. But what will happen is over time, it'll start to accelerate. So when I first got into it, I heard about it, the guys that were doing it, they've been in it for like 2 and 3 years each. And they said, oh yeah, it'd be great, you'll be making $5 a day. I'm like, how cute are these people? $5 a day, I'll be working until I'm like 150. And so when I started it, I was making $5 a day. I'm like, this is good, but you know, keep working. And then by the time I was sort of 3 or 4 months in, I was making 50 a day, and then 100, and then 200. I was like, wait, I'm making 200. And now like, yeah, like I'm a year in. And if someone had told me what my account would look like a year ago and what it looks like now, I would say, what are you smoking? Like, no way. And it's just, I can't even explain it. I can't actually explain it. Yes?
So how does it?
Is that Marion?
Yeah. I don't know much about it. Sorry.
Yes.
How does it actually like make more money, like $5?
So
Can
what we're
you
doing.
repeat the question, please?
She was asking, how does it make more money? How does it make more money? So the whole system in cryptocurrency and digital assets is a wealth-based system. It's an expansive system. We are just one tiny grain of rice in their whole program. They have about 300 things they're doing. Like they're building a smart city in Dubai. They're tokenizing real estate in Malaysia that 100 people could buy a house. So I own the curtains, you might own the bench and whatever. And it's all done through cryptocurrency, but it's all collective, which is amazing. So what they did is they put the coin in the back end when like there's 5 people in the membership at 7 cents and we're trading, you know, the coin, and now there's 10 people and we're trading the coin. Well, now there's 700,000 people and that coin is worth $2.35. So by having community, they have reach. So what they're doing now is anything that they find that's any good, they bring it to us and they go, hey, we've got this new project, what do you think? And we're like, oh, okay. And now what's happened is, because the projects are so abundant and expansive, when they drop a project in, they'll sell in 5 minutes or 2 hours. They just sell out because people go, oh, I'll try that, I'll try that, I'll try that. And you're constantly expanding each and every day in what it does. But we are incubating their next projects, in short, and that's how it makes money. But also too, these guys own 40 exchanges, crypto exchanges, or part own. So the biggest crypto exchange in the world is called Binance. They own 10% of Binance. Now, Binance was trading, when I started with this project a year ago, they were trading $20 billion a day. They are now trading $80 billion a day in this one crypto exchange. They get transaction fees off that. There's hundreds of millions of dollars of transaction fees. That's one of 40. And they're involved with like all the universities, you know, like the guy is genius. And so they're sharing their wealth with us because we're part of the community, and we're starting to grow their projects because they have reach. Does that make sense?
Yes. It's like, yeah, it filters down.
Yes.
We find them, they find us.
That's it. But the other thing is too, like, I know the discussion is pioneering a new wealth system and, you know, creating our own system. Like, effectively what you will do when you move down here is you will be firing your banks. You will, like, at the end of next year, I will never need a bank again for the rest of my life. Hallelujah. I will be my own bank. Bank of Rhiannon. You'll be the bank of Rhea. You'll be the bank of Rebecca, because you don't need a bank anymore. How does that change the world? How does that change the world? Power to the people. So any other questions? Yes?
If you couldn't be bothered looking at all that stuff,
If you couldn't be bothered, yeah.
but you have some resources and you'd
Yes.
like to invest,
Yeah, we'll make it easy for you.
there's people that can take a percentage
Yeah.
to do that work for you.
Well, actually, because it's a wealth-based system, we don't take percentages on anything, because we're actually in a system where every day we make more.
Yeah.
So we don't need to take a percentage, like that's the old system.
Yeah.
So what we would do is Rhea, myself and Ash are partnering up to help people get on, because when you start, you've got to be really patient. It's an absolute pain in the rear end to start, because as your own bank, you need to identify and get, you know, past security and all that. So you have to have driver's license and rah. So what we'll do is we're going to organise a follow-up meeting for anyone who is interested, and we're going to make it as easy as we can to get you started, but you will still need to do that. Yes.
If you already have like a trading platform like Binance or
Yeah.
Coinbase, would have
It's easy.
buy it from there?
2 seconds. Yeah. So we, Rhea and myself and Ash, because like there's quite a few people on the call as well tonight, is we'll organise a second. I think we said next Wednesday night. Is that what we want to do?
Oh, Wednesday works, yeah.
To like, if we organise, say 7 o'clock next Wednesday night, a Zoom call, and just be really patient, because we'll set up the people who want to be set up. And the thing is, like, your smallest membership is $300 US. Like, just start there, join the community, see what you think. That 300 will show up as 900, and that 300 will be 3,000 a year. But I think it's like, I know.
Can I just share a
Yeah,
little bit?
please. Because we should really talk to each person individually to find out what they want, because that's really important.
So, yeah, like when I started, I didn't have a finance or anything like that. And Ashley's just like, you totally just need to be on this. I don't care what you say. I'm just going to throw down 300 bucks for you. I'm like, oh, okay, or whatever. And it's like, and then so I got to catch up. Yeah,
you
know, because I'm like, okay.
you got a bit of a head start because you knew Ash.
Yeah, but like it's been about 5 weeks, and now I've got nearly $6,000.
What did you start with? 300.
300.
Yeah, that's in 5 weeks.
Yeah, and so when Rhiannon said before, like instead of like, you know, like instead of working with a tree, you're sort of working with a line. Like this. So say if anyone was to come in, and, you know, there's a lot of things that are doing really well in the world, and it's quite useful. It works in affiliate systems, because then it's like, you know, if you do have an affiliate, then it's like you're looking after your people, and you can kind of look after each other, right? So same thing. Say I have an affiliate link, so she. And so does Ash, but like if you came in under me, for example, I don't get any commissions off you, but then I get my rewards quicker. So at the moment I'm making $50 a day, for example.
But what were you making when you started 5 weeks ago?
$5 a day.
So in 5 weeks she's gone from 5 to 50.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Please join. Yeah, come on in. But the thing is, what I wanted to say is, because like I really do believe in the care factor. I know that we're all going to start, but if you have the time or you really want to know how, I'm happy, and Rhea as well, to do just a one-on-one. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to end up? How do you want to grow this? Because the thing is, like, some people go, I'll just chuck 300 and whatever. And other people go, actually, I'd like to make this amount in a year. And I'm not a financial planner or an accountant, but I can show you how I've done it, and we can help you to achieve that, because you'll just wake up every day feeling better. You just will. And you don't have, you know what, Dave, we can make it easier for you. Like, you just go, let's just set it up, whatever. You don't have to learn anything. We'll just show it to you how it works. Like, I managed 10 people's accounts for about 6 months, and I said, okay, take it back now. And now I've got 4 left, and they're giving them as Christmas presents.
So I shared it with a couple of my really good friends, and they just sold their house on the Gold Coast, and I'm just like, they had been working with a crypto coach to teach more about the stuff, and like they'd been on the trading platforms and going back and forth and and it was like, for my friend, it was like taking up so much of her day. Her brain was melting. She was like, oh my god, this is so full on, like I can't cope with like all the time on the screen, plus work, plus being a mum, plus all this stuff. And then when we showed her this project, she was just like, oh my god, that's it. She wiped everything off like, because this is all the other trading platforms, and put it all into Hyperfund. Because this is the only, she's so happy because she only has to do one thing every day. Because this is growing and growing and growing.
This is the only crypto that's automatic. This is the only crypto that's automatic. It's automatic.
The one thing you have to do.
You press 2 buttons. You press 2 buttons.
So you just log in and you rebuy, and you go and then you triple, or you. So every time you put 50 in, the fund gives you 100. So you're tripling up. So you put that back in. So that, and someone asked me that the other day. Rebuy. Somebody asked me the other day. They go, oh, wouldn't you just leave your rebuys alone? I'm like, that's like leaving a lotto ticket on the counter and going, yeah, I'll get it next year. I'm like, if the lotto ticket's there, go cash it in. So you'd never leave your rebuys idle. You put them straight back in, because the fund will triple it. Every time you have 50, the fund gives you 100. That you just put 150 in, so it starts to catapult. Yeah, and I just want to add to that as well, for those that are interested in, you know, because so many different projects and things out there in the crypto world, that like what I see and what I feel and what I'm noticing, what I'm experiencing with this project is that it's a really good place to start. You can put your toes in the water and go, oh, this is the blockchain world, this is the crypto world, this is what it feels like. And then when you build up enough of your like rewards, rewards, then you can start going and trading in the other world and going into other things if you want, you know. That's just it. Yeah, I'll pull out 20 grand and I'll start playing with it here and there and whatever. Yeah, it gives you a really good, gives you a safety net, because you can't screw up with this. Like every day you make more. So what happens is then you can go and play here and play there and play there and go, oh, well, bugger, I've lost there. Oh, well, this one's still ticking over. Yeah. So like tomorrow we've got a 9:30 call, and then next week we'll have a 7 o'clock call on Wednesday. So tomorrow is just to give you a little bit more understanding about crypto, and next Wednesday would be for people who are interested in actually giving this a go. Yes? I'm
just curious, I think I've heard about this before. You invested, so you've invested 5 weeks ago.
Yes.
She can't take that money out for a
Yeah,
set time period, right?
so how it works is that $1,000 would go in and you're buying 1,000 HU membership. It'll show up as 3,000,
Yeah.
but it is paid out to you at 0.5% a day for 600 days.
Yeah.
So you're making $5 a day for 600 days, and that's your 3,000.
Yeah.
But that's not factoring in the rebuys. So when you're doing the rebuys, that 1,000's now 12,000. Do you see?
And so the thing is, my understanding is that when you rebuy, the 600 day starts again
Yes.
on the full amount.
Yes, but the other thing is too, remember, it's 0.5% of your seed money, but because you keep adding into it, that 0.5% is going up. So say it's $1,000 and it's $5 that gets paid out.
Yeah.
You put that 50 back in, now you get $5.25. Then you put that back, it's $5.50. So that's how she's gone from 5 to 50 in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that you're compounding it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what I did, but you guys will all do your own thing. Is I decided not to touch it for 3 or 4 months, and then I started to pull out a bit, and now I've like taken out my seed money over and over, no problems.
Yeah.
And so now I just, as long as you can't run the cookie jar dry because of the way it works, so you could only really take out say 3 days a week, because if you run it dry, then there's nothing left for it to accelerate on. So you just have to figure out how you do that. But remember, it's still growing every day. So like right now I'm doing renovation at my place, and I'm fully paying for it through this. You know.
You pay with your card.
No, well, card and cash, because you can go from a crypto exchange into my bank account as well. So both. Yeah, correct.
But yeah.
Yeah. So no, go.
No, it's what you. I don't think it's on Zoom. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll be saying bye shortly. No, well, I'll wrap this up in another like half an hour, and then we can keep going with questions here. So.
Just there was the thing about it's still my baby.
Oh no, that's
So if you are to say, the really nice amount, talking to someone next week, and they're going to do this as well. So you have like 10,000 US and you put it into it.
that gives you
Then
50
you
straight
can
off.
actually, it's a sweet kind of amount, because you're going to make 150 grand in like a year.
Yeah.
But like you can just put it in there and do your rebuys every day. Don't touch it.
That's it.
But for me, I was like, okay, because I'm a natural born marketer. I've done promotions. I like talking to people, like doing events, whatever. So I'm like, I didn't have a big investment to put in. So I was like, hey, I'm going to be a community builder.
Yes.
So that means that, I'm actually putting my hand up to share it, but there's no obligation, 000 for you to be a sharer of this project if you want to, which makes it really cool. And you can still build and build and build.
That's it. There's 2 ways to do it, like completely passively, it just ticks over here, or if you are someone who shares like Rhea and myself, then you would be building it. And the other thing that's really interesting is because I've got people in my team across everything, like doTERRA and Isogenics and Amway and Buyer's Choice, all in it. But what's interesting is there's a guy in England who has a team of 16,000 people in doTERRA, and I only have about 200 people that are actually in my group. And we're on the same amount of money. And I was just like, wow, that's just so different, because you have to work really hard in that system, but over here you don't. And the thing is, it just becomes something it's just truly joyful. It's not even hard. Yeah?
And so the rewards would be a reduction in your 600 days. Is that right? Is that when you're talking about rewards for introducing people?
That's it. Yeah. So here's the key on this one. So remember, the 1,000 goes to 3,000, and if you do the rebuys, it's 12,600 days, right? So my friend who got in this, she was the very first person in Australia who got in, and the first year she couldn't get anyone interested at all, because people go, that won't work, it's scam all over, whatever. So now she's been in it 3 years, and guess what her turnaround time is? Guess how many days it is from the time she puts it in to takes it out?
3 days.
Exactly. It's 3 days. Did you read my mind? It's 3 days. It's 3 days. So she puts it in, can take it out 3 days, because that's what they do. They pay you in time. Like, Tommy?
Yeah, so you said you can't take it out after 600 days.
No, you will have all of it out in 600 days.
Oh,
yeah.
So, but you can take some out.
Yeah. So there's a couple of ways to do it. It depends how everyone's going to have a different level of risk that they're comfortable with. So some people go, I don't know, because I'm not sure how this is going to work. If I put my $1,000, how's it going to work? So there's sort of a few ways to do it. So what you could do is you can put your $1,000 in and then take it out every single day for 200 days, and you'll have it out, but you will have not done any of that acceleration. Or you leave it in for a year and you take it out in month 13 or month 14 or whatever. Or what I did is I actually started taking out in the 4th month, and I think by the 5th month, but I had shared it with like 20 people, so I got the acceleration. So I actually had it all out by about the 5th month because it had sped up so much.
And that happens all the time.
Yeah, so now like every single day I make more money. Like and the other thing is too, because they actually reward people who do build with time. So what they do is so you get released those rewards every day, $50, $60, $70 a day. But what happens is as you're working it, they release more of your own rewards, right? But what happens is then they start releasing them in chunks. So here you go, 50, 60, 70 a day. And then by the time like now that I'm in it a year, like probably in the first week in December, I'll get released a really big chunk of my own. And then I can either take that out as a chunk or put it back in and triple it. Do you see? And that started happening about 3 months ago, is that they started giving me chunks of my own rewards, not just the daily stuff. So now twice a month I get a chunk of my own rewards. Like, it's crazy. Like, but the thing is now I'm going full on charity, because I'm like, okay, I don't wear any rings. I drive one car. I'd rather plant trees. I want to do the orphanages and stuff. And so now I'm drawing these really massive crypto whales in who go, yeah, 1 billion trees, no worries, I'll pop in your account. Like, that is how easy it is. Like, just, I don't know how many shovels we need. That's more of a concern. Any other questions? Yes.
I got into crypto a couple of years ago, and last year someone told me go in, and then I was able to take out what I put in.
Good on you.
But now I'm in a stage, I'm building a home.
Yes.
And I need cash. And I still have some cash, so I put half of my savings in crypto, half in another.
Yeah.
I've used Nexo now to get out loans because I love the idea that.
Yes.
But like, would you recommend putting it all in this?
Well, I'm not an accountant, but what I would say is I'm not going to recommend that you do any funding alone. So I would use this as like, I'm a financial or wealth coach, right? So this is how I would play it. You start here, learn this, then you like do that course, like we're sharing that tomorrow morning. Just start to learn and then ask questions and go, what about this? So I'll share a bit about what I did. I kind of have to stop the recording for a second. Sorry, guys. Just 2 seconds. Sorry, I'll be right back with you. I'm back on. I just couldn't share that on a recording. But that's the thing, is the potential is absolutely massive. And we're used to this system over here, governments and banks, and guess what? They're turning into billionaires and trillionaires, and we're poor. But over here, we are reclaiming our freedom. We are reclaiming our power, and we can use it for the greater good. Because the funniest thing is the people who are in this, they are awake souls, Rhea, people, they are people who want to help make a difference. And isn't it funny, we've arrived here. All the people here, they're so generous and philanthropic, it's blowing my mind. Whereas over here, this is the fear zone, and this is the love zone.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be? Questions? Oh, lots of questions. I'll go 1, 2, 3. Over to you.
One thing that keeps bumming in my mind is when I was a kid, I think 11, I had a savings account that would give me 13%.
Woo!
And I wonder, that was in Belgium. I come from Belgium.
Yeah, I thought you had a funny accent.
But did the banks change? Like, did they have the intention in the beginning? Has it changed? And how are these systems?
You know what? That's a different conversation. That's a very long conversation. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who could help you with that conversation, but there's a much bigger plan. And the thing is too, it's so important that we're strong in this moment. It is so important that we claim, because you know what? I don't really want to go down this path, but my father fought in the Second World War. My great-grandfather was Jewish, and you know what? I've been so tempted just to wear a yellow star. And the thing is, I will claim that I have the freedom to choose no matter what. And we need to be so strong. We cannot lay down. We just cannot, because you know what? They just said it was just a little train ride. Don't worry, it won't be too. It's just a short walk over here. And if we don't, and you know what? This is going to give us freedom to do it. This is going to give us freedom to do it. And that's why I am working my ass off at the moment. I don't need to work, but I'm working my ass off because I realise so many people need to be freed. Does that help you?
Yeah.
I know that's not quite the answer you're looking for, but
I can.
yeah. You had a
I
question?
had 2 questions. One was just more about this particular
Yeah,
currency
fund, yeah.
and why it doesn't drop. And my other question was around taxes. Like,
Yeah.
do you tell?
Yeah, okay. Just stop recording. So first thing I will say is, because our fund is funded by transaction fees, That means as long as people are buying and selling in the market, we're making money. And guess what? People are always buying and selling. So it doesn't matter if they buy or sell. There's a gas fee, there's a transaction fee. We are funded by that. That funds us, which means we don't care. I get people call me and go, oh, how much did you lose because Bitcoin dropped? I'm like, no, I only make money because the transaction fee, right? Just 2 seconds, I'll be right back with you. I just don't want to get in trouble. Hang on 1 sec. Okay, so. Oh, okay. I mean, someone else had a question.
You have two.
Oh, you have 2 questions?
Well,
Yeah. The other thing is too, I'm actually moving to a different card too, which has a limit of 50,000 a day. But there's lots of the crypto world is massive.
So you might want to stop them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. I know this is really poor, and you won't be coming back to Sydney again. But
Crypto.
you set up a what? Sorry.
Anyway, I joined, I figured out, I don't know why it felt complicated to me previously. I figured out how to open a CoinSpot account
Oh, good on you.
and put like
Yeah.
$300 in it, just because I just wanted to feel, and I got like Bitcoin, Cardano, Polkadot, and Ripple.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just divided it up.
Yeah.
I've already lost like $18 by the way.
That's the rodeo.
But if I had more money in it, I would be thinking it was
Yes.
like it would be a joke.
But we all started like that. We all started in the rodeo.
Yeah, so the thing I want to and I hadn't connected it, and maybe it is just a coincidence. But today, when I went on my online banking and NZ account, for the first time ever, before I logged in, I got a question saying, are you like an Australian resident for tax purposes?
Really?
And then I
Wow.
put yes. And I didn't connect this.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you think there's a connection? Because
They
I've also lived overseas
Yeah,
for many
they
years,
are trying-
and I recently applied for a car loan. Like
are trying to work it out, because the thing is too, this is growing. Like there's 4% of the world's population in it, but it is growing at such a fast rate. They're working as hard as they can to get the mechanisation. They just need the legislation. They'll hook it up. So in 18 months' time, it will be way more
So
regulated.
do you think the joining CoinSpot? will
Yeah,
help us?
because they're
So
tied.
that's
They're
why
tied.
that
They're tied
happened.
into the
And
ATO.
then my other immediate, like, as somebody who doesn't really know much about any of this, my kind of intuitive immediate response when someone said do CoinSpot and not Binance, seeing that it was Australian, I was like, what if the Australian government wants to like take it all away?
So the thing is
So
too,
that's a concern for me with crypto in
but
general.
that's another
that it can all be wiped
conversation.
out.
That's another conversation, and I'll give you a couple of examples, and we've got other special ACEs that we can help you with, but to give you a couple of examples, China banned cryptocurrency. This is a massive cryptocurrency in China. These guys are they're too big. So you know what they did? They just packed their bags and moved to Dubai. It's legal in Dubai. So they've got too many ways that they can keep it going. Another one of the regulatory bodies banned one of their coins. No worries, we'll just sub it in for another coin. You can't stop this machine. They will move countries, change coins, keep going. You're not going to catch up to them. And there's too much wealth in it, because the thing is, this system is trying to control it. Screw this system. This system, they can keep doing what they're doing. While we build this, they're going to be really hard to crack this, because power to the people. And I really believe the consciousness is shifting here in a way you can't imagine. So we have so many options as to how to do it. I've even got a special thing that I can't share on this that can I'm pretty amazing. In a nutshell. sorry. It's really hard. Yes. Yeah.
You mentioned a while ago some guy that did all the math that created it.
Yes.
Who is that?
Ryan Zhu. So you've got Ryan Zhu and Sam Lee, and they are the gurus behind this. They're in their 30s, self-made billionaires. I watched a video of Ryan having dinner with a group of friends in Dubai, and you know what he said? He goes, "Why can't everybody be wealthy? Why can't they?" And I'm like, you know what? That's it. Why can't everybody be wealthy? And so he is like the Warren Buffett of crypto, and you've never heard of him because he's not on a magazine. He is on Amazon series, but he's not. He's kind of sliding under the radar, doing amazing work. And you know, if you Google them, you're going to see good and bad. But all I can tell you is, in our system, we have glitches where sometimes the rewards don't get paid and things happen. And you know, every time they have corrected the glitch, do you know what they've done? They have overpaid us. Would your bank ever overpay you? So one day I woke up and I had like a very big chunk in my account, and I called someone. I said, look, there's been a big mistake. I don't understand, you know, but because I'm going to be paying it back. And he goes, no mistake. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And it's just, so any glitch that, because sometimes the rewards, the system is so big that they get delayed. So instead of getting paid today, they get paid tomorrow. If there's been any things where we have been underpaid, they overpay us. I've only ever been, this has far exceeded my expectations in every way, I'm having trouble sleeping. Yes.
Just want to clarify the 2.5 grand that you started with to where you are today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's because you've been introducing people that have been coming.
Speeding up the return, yeah.
So
But the thing is, I will just share this.
Yeah.
I have only shared it with 27 people in the year, which is not many. So that's my friends and family and ex-clients and stuff like that. That's actually not many people. But the thing is, like, I just read and a bunch of like ex-cops, teachers, nurses, like people who actually need it. I said, you know, and also too, I'm funding in Africa. I'm gifting them accounts every month because I can. So how many people have got whatever? I set up a foundation now. I'm working with Michelle McLean, the ex-Miss Universe. I'm like, we can do that. Don't worry. Here's 1 billion trees. Like that. I'm doing way better work now because I'm connecting people who can make a difference. Like when I found the guy that's the bazillionaire, I said, hang on, these guys need money for their trees. Bang, he goes, yeah, let's do it, done. Like, it's just insane. Like, stuff moves at lightning speed, but 1 billion trees, that happened today. 1 billion trees. I can't even count that far.
Side stuff.
Yeah.
So I have joined up this CoinSpot.
Yeah.
But I was recommended not to use it and join the Coin Tree, which I have done.
Yeah.
And do you know anything about
I don't know Coin Tree.
Okay.
I don't know Coin Tree. Do you know Coin Tree? No, but we can have a look at it for sure. Yeah. Or you're going to be buying Tether, which is it's a stable coin, which means the value of that never changes. It's always $1. So our fund is funded by Tether. So then we just move the money from whichever exchange you're on to Tether. But the thing is, some exchanges will have bigger gas fees. If you're on the Tron network, you can do $1. So Binance will do that. Whereas CoinSpot, they'll rake you for sure. So I wouldn't want to, if you take it from CoinSpot, they're going to take like $30 or something like that.
Yeah, well, I haven't used them.
Yeah.
Don't.
I'll go Binance first, but also too, the exciting thing is, see, when we take our MOF out of the back of this and we put it on the exchange and we turn it into Bitcoin to then put it into cash, we now have this card, which is a little bit hard on the head because it's too busy. It makes me feel sick. But you can go MOF to the card and straight sell it on the card, which is it's immediate, and it's a $50,000 day limit. It's a lot of lattes. Right?
Just to clarify, so I would be good in putting in some money.
Yep.
And then leaving it in there and putting the everything's back.
The rebuys, the rewards, yep.
Yeah. But I'm really bad in sharing stuff with people.
You don't need to. You don't. So yes,
Right,
so there's other ways you can do it though. So for people, because not everybody's a sharer. So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm so sorry I have to do this one more time, but I just can't. Just like, I'll be right back. Oh, it'll show like you'll give them because they have to have a link to sign up. So you're going to have either Ria's link, my link, or Ash's link. So that's how we will do it. And then they show up in your team. But the thing is too, that the way he's designed it is pretty amazing. Like when you have shared it with 20 people, that's the most advantage you can ever have. So he's not like share it with 50,000. He's like, look, if you share it with 20 people, we'll give you an extra bonus on your own rewards. And that's for everyone. So there's no push to share it. It's like by the time you've talked to your friends and family, there's your 20 people. Like they're not saying, oh, you share it with 5,000, we'll give you this. They go, no, you share it with 20 people, that's it. That's the highest bonus you ever get, because it's not about that. It's just it's you get paid in time. Like it's just so it's very ethical. It's very ethical. Yes.
Can you just go over how it gets from HU to fiat?
Yes. So you're buying the package in HU, which is equivalent to $1, which is Tether. But in the system, there's 4 little boxes where you'll take your HU and it'll say transfer, and you transfer it into a financial account, and then it'll say exchange, and we exchange it into MOF, which is molecular future coin. Then we take that molecular future coin into one of two exchanges, because there's only two exchanges that carry them off. So we take it into WHO or into OKX. Okay, this is the Swahili part. So we send it to one of those, and then you either trade it into Bitcoin, Ethereum, or well, whichever coin you want, Litecoin or whatever, and then you'll send it to the exchange that you're going to cash out on. So I'll go to my card for Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, or I'll go to CoinSpot. I should probably use a Binance and go straight into my account. But the reason I actually chose to do some in CoinSpot is rather than them chase me and go, well, now you're doing crypto, go, yeah, there's my crypto. This is the hand that you can see that's doing crypto, and this one, bye-bye. That's how I do it. Yeah. But and the thing is, we will show you how to do that. Like this is like learning a new language. Like everything's going to be like, I press what, and don't do any of it when you start without someone beside you, because the string of letters for your wallet address is about this long. And if you miss one letter, I lost $50,000 overnight because I made one mistake, not retrievable. So do not do, when you're starting, do not do anything unless you feel super confident like you did, because I don't want anyone losing anything. But once you've done it like a few times, because you can do it by yourself now, you can do it by yourself, but you've got to just make sure your string is correct. You want to be on the right blockchain. So just make sure you've got some help, but we will help you. We'll help you. Yes?
So if it's tethered to the US dollar.
Yeah.
What if the US dollar?
It goes up or down.
Well, basically, based on my $18 loss yesterday and today, I've become sort of was moving towards the conclusion of like, I will just buy gold and silver.
See, there's
because none of this is tangible, including currencies and fiat. So that's just kind of where my head was at.
There's a lot of coins that actually do things. See, the way you use Tether is, so Bitcoin's here and it's up, like say it's like, 80,000. You move it across here into Tether because it'll hold the value. You wait till the Bitcoin drops down to 70,000 and then you go buy more. And so you'd actually, it's called a cycle. So you'd actually use it like that. Yeah. So I will move because I bought some Elon and some Shabu, because Elon is like 0.0000000 something. So it only has to go up by like a tiny bit and you've made, ridiculous amount of money. But I will move it to Tether when I'm uncertain of that coin. And because I've got everything, my whole crypto platform is built on Hyperfund, everything, because my worst outcome is 300%. That's my worst outcome. So if I trial these things and I lose, it's okay, I can go back here. Like I bought a node. They only had a few nodes. They sold out in 5 minutes. It paid back its entire price in 4 weeks, and every 4 weeks it pays it back again. But they sold out in 5 minutes.
What's a node? Yeah.
It's a place where all the cryptocurrencies interact, they intersect. So each blockchain has to have nodes for integrity, the integrity of the blockchain. So they're like, it's like buying the goose that lays the golden egg. So I have like millions of nodes. I have a handful of nodes over here that produce millions of coins, but these coins are worth nothing. And I've had those for years, waiting for them to go up because it's like that. But that's the thing, I've got 20 of those, but this one's solid. This is the only one I've got that's solid. But now, because the connections I've made here, I'm starting to meet people who have other things that are even better than Hyperfund, but I'm not allowed to share those yet. So it's like, this is the only one I can share. I can't share those ones yet. But that's yet, maybe one day.
I think it was David Avocado Wolf said in the Defunding Matrix podcast that it was some ridiculous statistic, but like $4 trillion has been extracted from the fiat currency in the last 24 months or something like
it's a multi-trillion dollars.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like the banks are just shitting themselves.
Well, Commonwealth Bank, who said no, in the last like 10 days gone, we're taking Bitcoin, because so many people are leaving the bank, because ING and other banks are saying we'll take crypto. They can't afford not to take it. So now they've said they'll take Bitcoin. But the thing is, the government and all the banks, they're producing their own crypto, because they want you to take their coin. So it's actually really important that we have a people's coin. And you know what? People ask me, how long will this last? Well, I feel like it's really solid because of all the other projects that they have. But now's the time to get in, because we're only at 700,000 accounts. And it's not just about this coin. It's about what it will do for your mind, for your family, for your life, and what you will learn, and how we can change the world. Like, we really can change the world. I'm seeing it daily in this. Oh, yes?
Which of the crypto funds are based on mining?
There's lots of them. there's lots of mining. Like there, we've got mining as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a little portion of mining, and so it kind of ticks over in the background.
Mm.
But they're moving to solar mining because obviously, you know, that's an environmental impact thing. So they're in the process of moving that. So all that, there's a lot of mining involved, but they're really trying to bring in the solar farms. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the sustainability of the mining.
Exactly.
There may be some problems in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
But
there
that-
will be.
It's still a minority coin, because a lot of the coins actually do things. Like there's got coins that you know transact, or coins for technology, or there's a lot of coins that do things. But like my favorite coin at the moment is the NF tree. That's you buy it and you're planting trees, like you're literally planting trees. It's just nice, you know. Well, I'd like to see more of those coins. That's what I want to see, that actually make a difference to the fabric of society. Yeah.
So if it's at 700,000 now, and obviously there's a focus on growing that.
Yeah.
And there's more membership, more money coming in, more money
Yeah.
circulating. What happens when it gets to 30 million?
They no more new memberships. They'll
how,
hit.
how does the money keep?
Yeah, so you know what? Without being judgmental at all, that's a real poverty question, because you say, well, it's gonna crash because there's nothing left. But remember this. The crypto exchange is only making more money every day, because even if they shut the membership, the exchange still's going, there's still more and more people coming in. So they're only ever making more money. They just don't want the membership to go beyond 30 million because they think that's irresponsible. So they've done the maths to 30 million. They've gone, like, we'll tell them we'll close it there, but maybe they'll do something else. I don't know. But there'll only be more money because we're only 4% of the global population in crypto. When like Malcolm Gladwell says, when the population gets to 17% on anything, everyone adopts. So we're at 4% now. I reckon by the end of next year, we'll be at like 15%, and every single person will have crypto. But you know, you might miss out on this, because this is growing by about $5 million a day going into hyperfund. Yeah.
So just a question in terms of the 20 people. So 20 people is a cap, right? To bring down your rewards.
So 20 people is the maximum that they bonus that you can get on your own rewards, correct? Like this, yeah.
And
you can bring in more people, but it
Yeah.
won't make a difference. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they were just $300 buy-ins. It's just 20 people.
Doesn't matter. No, I think there is. I can't tell you the maths on it.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a variable on that, but I'm not sure how that works, because I can't figure it out for myself, and nobody else can either. So yeah, but it just seems like I always feel like I'm making too much money. Like the maths doesn't work. I know, right? Yeah, it's a really nice problem to have.
Yeah.
And so you can spend that card and in any way you can spend Visa.
Yeah, so sometimes when I use that card online, I get kicked off and they go, no, I'm not taking it. And sometimes they'll crack me $7 on an ATM. So if I take it out in the ATM, they'll crack me $7. But most of the time, if I tap it for a latte or at a restaurant, I'm good. But sometimes online, no. And sometimes I get big fees on the ATMs. But I'd say 90% of the time I can use it. That's why I'm getting a backup card. I'm in the process of getting the other card that's actually our ecosystem card. But the app makes me feel sick because there's that many little things on it. I'm like, oh my God, where's the Wirex is like for a 5-year-old, which suits me perfectly. So I like that card, but you'll find that 10% of places won't take it because they're still over here. They go, no, we're not taking that. I got to get calls going, you're doing crypto, aren't you? I'm like, what if I am? And they're going, what are you doing? That's not hyperfund, is it? I've only heard bad things. I'm like, it's good for me. You know, but I'm cautious with how I share it. Yeah.
That's obviously where we want to get to, and the near future is that if everybody has crypto, we're inside an ecosystem.
Well, that's-
we can just trade our services
And it's happening.
Products between each and every one
Well,
of us who don't need the fee.
So right now, I'm doing exactly that. So my builder, every second week I pay him in my rewards. He goes, how does this work? So I just pay him, 1 week I pay him, and the next week I pay him my rewards. And now he's going, oh my God, this is awesome. So the guy that chopped up my wood, I paid him in rewards. So this is its own ecosystem, and we can send it to other people who need it. I'm sending it to Africa. So, and they're using it, if they have a phone, that they are their own bank. So it's incredible. Yes.
So the other thing I was going to ask is around when you're buying it again, so you've got your rewards paid in.
Yep.
If I go camping and I'm in the middle of football
Yep.
and I don't have mobile phone signal, and there's 4 days or
Yeah.
5 days.
It'll just sit there.
It just sits there.
Yeah, but it's kind like there's going to be times in your life when it is just going to sit there unless someone has access to your account.
Yeah.
But remember, if it's sitting idle, you're not getting the triple effect.
Yeah.
So it's like the lotto tickets just sits on the counter and you go, I'll do it next week.
Yeah.
But there's going to be times in your life where you're camping, you don't have Wi-Fi, so it sits there.
Yeah.
You know.
And then when you do cash, you just sort of triple.
Yeah, it still gets triple. It's always triple.
Yeah.
But they said that they may not always do triple. So when they started this fund, which is about 3 years ago, they did 3.5 times and then they dropped it to 3 times. So we're still on 3 times, but they have the prerogative to move that down. So we're on 3 times now. I don't know how long that part lasts, but that's why I think it's important to get in on 3 times. You had a question?
Yeah, Rhiannon, you just said like there are some people who are like, oh God, you're not impacted on value, and you've also mentioned a few times now that if you Google it, you might read some criticisms.
Yeah, you will.
What are those criticisms? And tell me, like, in your view, why might they be wrong?
Well, the criticisms are they actually started a different version of Hyperfund about 2 years earlier than this, and they had some agreement with people in Vietnam. And I'm not exactly sure what happened, but they started to do their own system and they basically cut them off and said, no, you can't be doing that. So then they created all this negative media, but also too, Sam Lee has had a couple of companies that they own about 300 companies between them. He's had a couple of companies that have gone bankrupt, haven't worked out, whatever. Like, I just say that's part of life. Like, what is happening? I did a lot of research into this before I got into it. So I made sure, okay, that I wanted to make sure that it was really well backed. So it's really well backed. They've got a lot of financial backing. But the kicker for me was when I realized it was funded by transactions. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. But of course, there's going to be negative and positive. And then I did not share it with a soul for the first 10 weeks because I'm like, no, I need to be making sure it works because otherwise that's irresponsible. When I saw it work, I started sharing. And then when I realized how well it worked, I went, oh my God, just get in now. Like, seriously, this is so, even if you start small, it's up to you what you can do. But I've done so well with a very small amount, but I'm a goer. Like, I'm someone who, if it smells good and it is good, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? So you're still going to read that, but all I can say is, everything that they've told me it would be, every mistake they have made, every correction has exceeded my expectations, and my rewards have exceeded my expectations, and the way they have interacted with me and what they've done has exceeded my expectations. And I can't say that about anything, any job I've had, anything.
That's helpful, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
And
you're welcome.
you talk a lot about they.
Yeah,
So who
like
is they?
corporate, like Sam and Ryan corporate, because everything comes down from them. Like, we don't interact with them because we're just one, they've got all these other projects, so you'll never actually interact with them, but corporate sends down the messages in through the chats. So yeah.
So how do you communicate with
In a Telegram. So we're in a Telegram, and we're also in, like, I've got a global chat across about 30 different countries. And so we just say, okay, there's training tonight, or there's training tomorrow night, or someone's got this or whatever, or do you need help with that? Because sometimes people will have trouble funding. They're like, I'm on Binance. Each country has its own rules and regulations. So we've got a global chat on Messenger to like problem solve. And then we've got a Telegram chat with just notices of what's going on.
And you've asked us to get on.
As soon as you've got an account, you can get into both.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're totally decentralizing communication as well,
Yeah,
because you're not using any mainstream
Completely
forms of communication.
No.
There's no website.
No,
there's
no, completely decentralized.
mainstream
Yeah.
source of information.
And that's the whole point of it, is it is decentralized. And the other thing is too, like, it's so interesting. It's kind of like this whole massive system is flying under the radar. Like, yes, it's getting traction now and people have heard of it. Like, in the last 3 months, people have heard about it, whereas the first 9 months, no one had heard about it. They're like, hyper who? But the whole, it's quite beautiful how organically it's opening, and people are sort of doing their own versions of it in different ways. But yeah, just Messenger, just Telegram, that's it. Yeah. I mean, there's a handful of videos and presentations. Like, we don't even normally do these. That's rare. Yeah.
And Marion and Kirsty.
Yeah, and Marion and Kirsty. Yes. Who else had a question?
And the stars started.
Now,
Oh, you have a question?
instead of Binance, what about SwiftX?
Yeah, you use SwiftX too. Absolutely. I use OKX and Who, a little bit of Binance and CoinSpot, but mainly I go direct to the card. And now that I have the new card, I won't even need the exchange. I'll just go straight across there. Yeah.
And is it Ash Rubin that you keep saying Ash?
Ash, no, Purrington, Ash Purrington. Yeah.
Why Lithuania? Like,
Oh,
if they're Chinese.
they're all over the world,
Okay.
but that particular card, like I got that card about 2 years ago, and I had a really tough time getting it started because of where it was, because you have to get verified and all that. But it just, that's where it is. The head office is in Bangkok, Lithuania. So.
So this might seem like a random question, but
Come on.
what would happen if the internet like shut down?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But you know what? How can the internet shut down across the entire globe? As long as the internet shuts down in only one place, it's okay. If it shuts down the entire globe, but people have, you know, it can't shut down the entire globe.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Okay,
so it would be a really extreme situation. Everything's backed up though, like all the coins are off chain already, so it's still backed up.
I asked that question to somebody, a friend of mine who's really into crypto just a few days ago, because we're hearing about this cyber pandemic and you know this thing. And he said, as long as there's like one computer working,
true. There has to be one computer.
World,
because that's exactly right. You can't. I don't believe you can shut down every computer on the planet. There has to be one computer because the whole thing is decentralized, and as long as there's one, we're good. You know, and I'm sure that there's someone who has one that can last through a solar flare. So yeah, yeah. Any other questions? Oh, 2 more questions. Yeah.
Just when you talk about the Bank of Lithuania, you see what is a bank?
It is actually a bank in Lithuania. Yeah. See, the thing is too, what you're going to find, because everyone's going to have their own journey. They're going to go, oh yeah, I just want to dabble, or I'm totally into this, or I want to plan, or whatever. But what happens is you're going to meet people, like-minded people who are moving from that system that's very broken and it's going to crumble because they're just printing money that's worthless, into this system that's creating wealth. But the people are really trying to make a difference. So what happens is you come across things every single day. I'll go, oh my God, I didn't know that was in crypto. Oh my God, I didn't know there was an NFT. Oh my God, that bot does this. And it's like, well, so you have to keep yourself really grounded, keep this solid. And when you're playing here, expect to lose, because these things aren't, this is the solid base. These are market dependent. But sometimes you'll luck out and you'll get something like, I've had a private invitation to something that you can only get into because you know someone. And then I was gifted something that boom, because of what I do. And so the thing is, the universe is going to bring to you exactly what you expect to get in this is exactly what you'll get. So I was like, as soon as I went, this can change the world, then the world showed up for me in this. And I went, oh my God, charity, like this is awesome. So I'm like literally a billion trees just floated my boat entirely. So you'll find through the connections exactly what you need, because your soul will draw it to you, you know, really. Yes?
If these billionaires created this type of thing, and they're already making so much money because they own 10% of all these exchanges and they're making so much money, why do they want our money? What we're doing is we're incubating their next projects, because the thing is too, they can do all this stuff, but if they don't have any customers to buy stuff that they do, like they could drop a coin in the market, people go, oh, I don't know who is that, but because they're rewarding us by that, they're helping us, they're sharing their wealth with us. So then we interact with their coin. We're growing their wealth by playing with those coins. So that's what we're doing for them.
So we're a part of their cycle.
So they give us some of their coins will return 150,000% or 19,000%. Like we get 300 to 1,000%, which is still good in the old system, but we're rewarded because we're helping them grow theirs.
These are new coins that are just inventing.
Yeah, they've got, that like, and the thing is too, they also, I didn't tell you this, they also give us what's called certified rewards. So 20% of your rewards will go to certified. Now those certified can be used to give you a place to buy any of the new coin releases. Some of those coin releases are like 19,000%, 150,000%. So you've got a little pile of certified that you can use for that, or you can use it for shopping. Like they have them all. You can go shopping, but why would you go shopping with that? Like there's no way of shopping.
And these coins you buy, you can't buy on finance. Coins like you have to go through MetaMask or.
You can't. The coin like HU is its own membership coin. Moth is not on MetaMask. Moth is only on Who or OKX. So it depends on Moth is only on Who and OKX. It's not on MetaMask. So it depends which coin it is as to where it shows up. Yeah.
What analogy be like when you get tokens at a fair.
Yeah.
And you can only use them to play those games.
Sort of like
But
that.
they give you prizes.
Yeah, it's that's a pretty good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, just sort of.
The other thing I would
understanding.
say with that is the more you share your tokens, the more tokens they give you.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I like the mindset behind that.
Yeah, it makes sense. And what always happens to everyone like at Blues Fest is they leave the festival with all their tokens in their wallet and can't use them.
Yeah,
So
right.
like long term, like before I get involved with any project, I want to know what's the projection of
Yes.
phase 1, phase 2,
Yeah.
phase 3, phase
Yeah.
four. What's the phases that
Yeah.
they're projecting and where's the
They-
future?
Because it's not like that. We know the projects that they are doing because we just interact with them here and there. But I think there's so much more under wraps. Like they tell us, oh, this new thing's coming down the pipeline. So we don't have the overall plan because they're not necessarily sharing that. But the things like the smart city in Dubai, that will only run on a coin called Hcash. So you could stock up on Hcash, or the tokenization on the real estate program. So there's things that we can drop into that can really make a difference. But what I like is it's really a program of one for all for one, because it's such a collective consciousness in this. And it will shift the way you think about everything. It just will, because you're not going to worry. You're going to feel lighter each day. And the thing is, when your chalice is full, you're going to go, I'm going to help Mary, or I'm going to help Jane, or whatever. And then you're like, what am I doing? What else can I do? That's why for me now, I'm connecting people. Here's the people with wealth, here's the people with ideas in crypto, and I just keep putting them together because I'm a keynote speaker and I've done so much speaking around the world. I'm very well connected. So now they go, I need this for the heart machine, or I need that for that. Here we go, connect. So right now I'm doing massive networking to connect the money people with the ideas people, because that's how we change the world. And then sharing it with people who are in a difficult situation because of what our government is doing.
So the vision really is just to get the membership to 30 million and then it will circulate.
I think, yeah, well, then they'll close the membership because they can't sustain it past that. So they've already done the maths on that, but they would probably open up something else. But I have my particular guess is that, and this is just a guess, is that they will float the company, and those 30 million memberships will now become part owners. That's just my guess. They haven't said it, sort of. They haven't never said it. But I've just thought, I wonder if these 30 million people are now part owners. That's just my guess. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Well, you said each time you rebuy it starts the 600 days again.
Yeah. Each membership is a new rebuy, so it starts again. Correct.
So if you're doing that for a year and you're not getting not sharing it,
you'll still, like, if you put 1,000 in, that's going to be paid out in 600 days. That'll show up as 3,000. And if you do the rebuys, it'll be 12,000 in the year, and that'll be paid out in that 600 days. Just that one, if you did that.
The 600 days from the beginning. So even if you're rebuying, it's not starting, that's that.
Each rebuy is a new membership, but the thing is, each rebuy is actually off a bigger amount because you just put it back in. So the day before you did a rebuy, so you tripled up, and now you're making 0.5% of the new amount. So each reward is now a bigger amount. So every time you buy a new membership, you're actually getting a big amount. Like Red was just saying, 5 weeks ago, she was making $5 a day. Now she's at 50 a day because she's done the rebuy. So her seed money's gone up. And then she's invited a few people, which has accelerated her rewards. Do you see? So like,
yeah, and just the way that I see it as well is it's like, okay, well, I've still got to be, it's like I see it like a nest egg project at the moment as well. Like it's not like I'm going to be with small investment to start with. I'm not going to be drawing money out like initially, but it's like great, we can put that money to do the next section of a house, or just grow. That's why I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And of course, the way that this is set up, you can't withdraw it all at once.
But that's actually a good thing. That's actually a good thing because it's teaching you. It's sort of teaching you an investment passive income mindset. Like, 6 months ago, I could start paying my mortgages. And now I'm like, oh, this is good. That's great. And now it's like, oh my goodness, like by the end of this, like I've completely done a house rebuild, like off the back of this. It just, because that's how much it grew in the last 6 months.
What's the maximum you can take out? Is it a percentage?
It's going to always be 0.5% of whatever you've got.
0.5, so 5% or 0.0?
0.5%, so 0.5%.
but it depends how you strategize and what your game plan is. Like I had a girl that came to me and she said, right, she's an ex-coaching client of mine. And she said, this is what I want to make in 12 months. And I just said, we'll do this, this and this. And within 6 months, she's already probably doubled that in 6 months. So she's like, look, I'm like, wow. It doesn't take much. You just need to be clear, where do you want to be in a year? Like get a plan for yourselves. Go, okay, I want to be this in a year. How do I do it? And there's a few different ways to do it. You either add more money, add more accounts, or you invite. Like if you're going to be passive, you can add more money, add more accounts. Or if you're going to be active, you share it with people and you speed up your own rewards. They're the ways. That's how you can build it. Yep.
So if you had 10,000 US, because that was the magic number that was mentioned.
That's because you get 50 a day, it goes to 150. That's the magic number, is 10,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 10,000 US.
Yep.
And if you just basically reinvested for a year,
It'll be 120,000 at the end of the year.
you would have 120 at the end of the year.
Yeah. And then on the 13th month, you can take out the 10,000. On the 14th month, take out the 10,000. On the 15th month, take out the 10,000. Keep, and it'll still build. So because remember, you'll probably be taking out 3 days a week.
Taking out 3 days.
Because you still got to keep the cookie jar full. So you can't deplete the cookie jar, right? Okay. So the girl that I know that's been in it for quite a while, she actually has to do quite a few rebuys, because if she doesn't, it just empties out, because the quantity is quite huge now. Yeah. So she has to be on it. So she's working on a system for herself.
So every day she's going to rebuy back in.
Well, no, she still does withdraw too, but she has to be really on it because the quantity is so large of the rebuys. Yeah, because she's 3 years in. Yeah. So the compounding is.
Yeah. Is it rebuy your money or the money that they give you, then you put back in?
Well, it's kind of a combination, because remember, you put your $1,000 in, they gave you 2, so now you've got 3,000. The $50 comes out of that 3,000, and then you put that back in, they give you another 100. So it's like a third yours, 2/3 theirs. A third yours, 2/3 theirs, all the way. Yeah. Questions? Yep.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
So can you, whenever you want, completely cash out?
No, because remember, you can only get paid at 0.5% a day. But what I was
saying, say you were done and you're like, I've made my 10 million. I'm gonna do something with it.
Yeah.
Like, could you?
You'll still have, like, at the end of 600 days, you'll have that, whatever that paid out, right? But if you go today, I just want cash out, there'll still be money in there, still going, and like unless you would have to withdraw every day until there was nothing, which would probably take you 200 days, and then you'd be, you can only take out 0.5% a day, and then you'd be empty.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay, and then the other question is, how does this compare to something like Royal Q? If you're familiar with
I don't know Royal Q.
Okay.
I don't know Royal Q.
Okay. I'll say that more.
I don't know. I've looked at a lot of them. I've tried a lot of them, and like hands down, I haven't seen anything work as well as this. I've tried a lot of them, but I haven't tried that one. But I've been very focused on this because it's just, I think this is a once in a lifetime. That's what I think.
Yes. I'm curious if you're aware of Minerva.
Yes.
Because this sounds very much the same.
Yes.
Platform program, and I have several friends who lost a lot of money.
Yeah,
so I'm curious what's the difference.
I would say 80% of the people I know in crypto now have all lost money at different times with different platforms. And I don't know anyone who's lost money on this at all, not one person. So that's all I can say. And from my own experience, I've made more than I thought I'd made, that I should have made. But I've lost money on other platforms just trying to figure it out. And I've got friends, pretty much 80% of my friends have all lost money trying things out. But I don't have one person in this who's lost money. So yeah. And I know quite a few people in it.
I'm a bit confused between if it's a year or 600 days.
So it's 600, yeah, 600. Yeah, but when I'm talking about the actual compounding, so you go 1,000 in, gives you 3,000, but in a year it gives you 120,000. But it's not paid. It's paid. The whole lot's paid out in 600 days. It's always 600 days. But when you bring people in, they shorten that. So that 600 days goes 590 days, 580 days. To the girl that's been in 3 years is now 3 days. But the actual, technically it is 600 days. The compound is over a year. So that 1,000 goes to 3,000, or that 1,000 goes to 10,000 over a year.
You're saying you only need 20 people to get back.
Oh, so you put 1,000 in, and in a year it becomes 3.
No, in a year it becomes 10. It'll show up immediately in your account as 3. You 20, they bonus you on 20 people, and there's like, you might get a little extra on more than that, but the magic number is 20. Like the magic number is not.
That's in 3 days, or it's just. takes
No,
3
no,
days?
not 3 days, but it just that sort of 20 wide gives you a maximum bonus. So when you share it with 20 people, that's your maximum bonus. Anything else gives you a bonus, but 20 is like the magic number, which is it's not hard for people who share. And if not, you're adding accounts or adding more money. Yeah.
What's the difference between maximum bonus and being able to draw the money out fast?
What's the difference between what, sorry?
So with the 20 people,
Yeah.
like what's maximum bonus and what does it have to do with being able to draw the money faster? Is that the same?
Yeah, so the 20 people, when you share it with 20 people, that something happens in the system that maximizes your account. And like, I can't tell you what that is. It maximizes your account at 20, and it will just speed up what you get paid. It just speeds it up. So you add 20 is the number. But what I find amazing is it's not 200 or 2,000. It's like when you get to 20, that clicks something over in the system and it maximizes your position. But remember, there's no extra money. It's just that you get paid your rewards faster. Yeah. So it's an acceleration thing. Yeah.
How did the lady get to 3 days? In what way?
Because she was the very first person in, and remember, as you're growing the business, you get rewarded in time, and because she's been in it the longest, her time, the 600 days, has gotten shortened down to 3.
Just automatically.
Yeah, because it's built into the system. That somehow, you know, depending on volume and who you share it with and stuff, that you get rewarded in time. So every time you do something, they reward you and they give you less time. So with that 600 days that you were supposed to be paid the amount in, they go, let's pay her. And she invited Roger, we'll give it to you in 590 days. Now you invite Jesh, we'll give it to you in 580 days. And so that's what happened. And she only actually shared it with 5 people. But she was the first person in Australia, and then everyone else has gotten in. So it's down to 3 days now.
So that's a pyramid piece then.
That's it. It's in time. That's it. Yeah, and that's how people go. It's a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
Well, it's not, but it's an acceleration program. It's in time, not money. Yeah.
But that's the thing.
That's
So
correct.
Really, if I invite somebody
Yes.
and they invite 10
Yes.
people and
Yes.
they invite 10 people, they
Yeah.
all come with my
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
That's
So your
the-
time gets shortened and
That's
shortened and
right,
shortened.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the piece of it.
Yeah. Time. Okay, so we'll wrap it up now. I'll thank you guys for lasting. You did really well. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to wrap it up now and just have a cup of tea and mingle a little bit. So thanks so much for joining us, and I hope that I answered as many questions as I could. So tomorrow we've got 9:30 a.m. We've got a session on just a little bit of understanding crypto. And for anyone who is interested, I think next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we can help show you how to get started in this if you're interested. Yeah. So I'll leave that with you, Leah.
So just to add a little piece to that,
Thanks guys for joining us. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Crypto, and it's just